the Astro Doodle. Leave that here for now. Okay, let's go check in, see if anyone showed up. Let's have a look. Hi Tina, Mr. Ross, hi. West End. West End. Who's West Ender? I used to live in London. I didn't get very posh. Oh. Okay, you're going to have to give everybody some tips, some clues. Well, thank you, Mr. Ross. All right, so anyway, West End, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. I feel embarrassed. RS, I should obviously know. If you're just like, you just hang out here with us all the time, fine, but honestly, I'm a little bit, I have to admit, I'm a little bit spacey at the moment. Maybe I can blame it on the moon, okay? It's RS, I did you, okay. Hello, Path Traveler. All right. I got some iced tea because it's suddenly blasted into summertime. Phew. All right. Sorry. I'm really spacey at the moment. I've been sort of all super mellow grounded. West End, Chicago. That should give me some clues. Okay, anybody Let's see if we can figure this out. RS, because I apologize, I'm drawing a complete blank, even if I've done readings for you. Ah, yes, it does. It looks like a really good bourbon, doesn't it? It's cool. Okay, so 2018. Well, 2018 was the change. Okay, from California. I can see a little tiny picture icon there. It's female. Okay. God. So embarrassed. Okay. So, the end of October 2018 was the moment when my channel was destroyed. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Like, it's 4.5 years now. We've been living right on the precipice, on the margins of complete dysfunction. It's still here, but a lot has happened in that time. Okay, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, West End, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll have a secret message in private or something, or by email. So, let me just do a little quick thing over here with the Astrodoodle just to get my attempt to get centered. Okay. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. We're just going through the planets. Okay, here we are. Okay. Of course, this is all the ephemeris on the understanding that the Earth is the center of the universe and everything spins around us. Of course, it's not true, but that's how we see it from here on planet Earth. Anyway, so right now, let's start with the Sun. Sun is in late degrees Taurus. Okay, it's going to flip into Gemini very soon. We are at, what is it, basically 22 degrees. Let's just put that there, 22 degrees. So it's late. And in a few days, on the 22nd, 22, we're going to be in the Gemini season over here. That will be, I guess, this time next week. So we got about a week, one more week of Tina. Okay, thank you, Tina. Okay, let me just make a note here while we're at it. See if I can get myself organized, at least appear moderately functional. Thank you, Tina. And I just remembered that Gregory sent an offering over there. Let me just... I got something from Gregory. Alright, let's see how we go. Okay, let's just put that there for the record. We'll come back to that in a while, of course. So, hello, Ivona. So, to me, right at this very moment, it's a very interesting chart because the sacred geometry is actually very beautiful. And I probably can't see it too well on my charts the way I do things, but we have a very beautiful, strong trine. Okay? Moon conjunct Neptune over here with Mars. In all of that, in Pisces, trining very nicely with Mars in Cancer over here. Okay? So, at the same time, we've got this beautiful sextile here. All that, see, okay, let me see if I can do it this way. Okay, you see this over here, this little tiny cluster? Moon and Neptune, very, very tight. That's very, very spacey, dreamy energy. And I already have major challenges in that department. So when we're getting this by transit, it trips me out. I'm not on mushrooms or anything. I don't do stuff like that anymore, or ever did, honestly. And Mars in Cancer over here. So these are very sensitive parts for me on my own chart. And then we've got this over here. Also sensitive degrees. So we got the trine the sextile and the sextile. So we have harmony and just resonance on these very loving angles here, okay? And it's fully supported by these energies of opportunity that come with sextiles. It's just like being realized. It's almost like having I don't know how else to describe it, just having a really good day where things are very, very much in the flow. So that's this triangle here. Now, on top of that, there's another one, exactly the same dimensions right here. We've got Saturn in Pisces, very beautifully trined with Venus in Cancer over here, sextiled with Mercury and the North Node over here in Taurus, sextiled again with Saturn in Pisces. The Pisces Cancer Taurus vibe is very, very sweet. The Pisces Cancer Taurus vibe is very, very sweet. Okay, so we've got two versions of the Pisces Cancer Taurus vibe. Harmony and harmony stabilized with this beautiful, rich, powerful pile of planetary energy over here in Taurus. Very, very yummy and stabilizing, considering we had the eclipse a few days ago, like 2, 4, 6, 8 days ago. This is a very comforting aspect to have right now, especially when it comes to the global financial system. In my interpretation, what's happened is that the actual tectonic shift has happened. Okay? So it's actually happened. So to me, it's like a moment of relief. There's the buildup of pressure, where the tectonic plates of global financial chaos are going like this. The world of truth and freedom and genuine honesty with finances versus the globalized system of fraud. So they're in deep friction against each other to the point where they're going, and now they have literally split. So to me, there is, the way I am interpreting it is that there's this undeniable awareness that there is a global financial crisis. You may not be aware because you might be super rich, but a lot of people are aware simply because they're noticing the price of gasoline and the price of food especially. And huge changes in the world of debt. In other words, mortgages and car mortgages and buying and selling houses, credit cards, buying and selling cars with car payments, business loans, and so on and so on. All those things are in deep... Oh, well, thank you very much. Okie dokie. So, to me, it's a sort of a moment of relief, because remember, these inner planets move quickly. The Moon, Mars, and Venus, and Mercury, they're moving very quickly. So these beautiful episodes of sacred geometry right now, which are, I feel like they're providing these soft, warm, fuzzy, stabilizing type of energies during a time of extreme stress, because the extreme stress is happening at the same time. I gotta make a note here for West End. Thank you. Oh boy, oh boy. Cheers, everybody. So, back to the bad news. We've got this fearsome T-square here, which is slightly out of perfection of alignment. But in a few days, as Path Traveler knows very well, we're coming up to the 16th, which is a point of critical mass astrologically, where this aspect here See this? This is a fearsome opposition building up, and we're only a few degrees away. Now, when you have Mars opposite Pluto, the way I interpret things in the world right now, we're going to see the subject of violence become prominent across the world in some form or another, where it's like really in your face and where the mainstream media really can't deny it or hide it. And it's kind of scary, okay? I can do readings. Here, the thing is, hey, West End, I've just got to remind you something. My channel is demonetized now. I demonetize it deliberately because I don't even want to deal with the monetization process, which is very grueling if you know about running YouTube channels, especially a channel like mine that got very controversial, okay? So what I highly recommend is if anybody does want to donate, please do it directly through PayPal to my email here if you have your own PayPal. The other thing you can do is this. I'm just saying this out loud, West End, because you very kindly donated, but I just realized I'll never see that money. It's going to go straight to Google and YouTube. They will keep it, and I will never see it. That's how it works now. Okay, so over here, this is the TarotLumination website. I got it set. I got it set on the donate page, so I'm actually doing a little tutorial right now. I see your notes on the screen. Yeah. Don't give money. Don't do the super chat. It's a waste of time on my channel anymore. I used to love super chat, but it's not good anymore. So you can go. I mean, I know it's tricky. It's complicated. It means you have to do things like here's a tablet. If you have another device. So what can happen is, oh gosh, let me just go back over here. Like if you're on a computer or something. Okay, well here's my email. I'll spell it out for you. I don't know if you can see it. A little book about at yahoo.com. ALITTLEBOOKABOUT at yahoo.com. A little book about at yahoo.com. And if you've got PayPal, you can send it direct to there. Thank you, Path. Otherwise, you can go to the TarotLumination website. And I guess I could do a little tutorial this way. Let's have a look. How am I going to do this? Sorry, this is I'm just trying to do a. Give me a second, okay? Just give me a second, folks. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, that's. I'm going to go over here. Go to TarotLumination.com. Okay, so this is a tablet, and this is what TarotLumination looks like when you log on a tablet or a phone or something. Okay, so you could go, if you've got a separate device, depending on what you're watching the show on right now, you'd find a website, and that's the front page, and subscribe and everything. Here's the menu bar, and you can scroll down. There's meetings, donations, how to book your readings, how to subscribe, membership, connecting, and all the more stuff down here. But this is the page you want. It's the donate page, so you'd have to scroll down, and you click the donate button, and it brings up a payment processor, which is basically identical to, like an online payment of any kind, like when you're going shopping somewhere. And sorry, you can't see it very well on this screen. The way it works, because of the way I have the font size is too big. But anyway, it's a simple payment processor. And if you don't have a PayPal, you can just scroll down the processor, enter a credit card, debit card, just like you're shopping. And it goes straight through to my PayPal immediately. So thank you for asking. Oh no, I see your notes. Well, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Why not? Improvise, go with the flow. We're going to be here a while, so why not? We could just shift the schedule around. It's not like there's any laws. I just have habits and routines, and we can come back to the Astrodoodle later. Okay, so listen, let's just start right now. So if it's about a question or you're concerned about something, what I would suggest is, so how about this? Okay, I'm going to put the markers all aside. I'm going to bring out my beautiful deck here, and we're going to use my beautiful custom deck. Let's go over here. Make sure everything's upright. Everything is upright. I don't do reversals, okay? I don't do jumpers or anything like that. So there you are, West End. Okay? Oh, I left out talking about the 16th. Okay, so we'll come back to the 16th, okay? Yeah, because that's very, very important stuff. Thank you, Path. Thank you, Path, for keeping me on path. So I'm going to, cards are already shuffled up, but I'm going to go live in front of you just for the hell of it. If you have an issue and you're concerned about something in particular, you could ask something like this in your mind. Dear TarotLumination, what kind of messages do you have for me tonight regarding the subject of ... fill in the blank. Money, love, home, family, health, career, whatever it might be. If you can condense it into one word, okay? That helps a lot. Otherwise, I'm very happy to go completely blind. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes it helps to focus. It's really up to you. All I'm suggesting is, to get in the frame of mind, well, let's do it from here. Let's just invite your invisible friends to join the show, and we'll all hang out together. I kind of take it for granted that I have my invisible friends with me all the time, but it really helps to acknowledge their presence, just like you do with a little pet or friends or something. You don't just take advantage. You consistently reaffirm your love, your caring, your affection, your appreciation, your joy of being gifted and being aware of being gifted with your invisible friends. So, okay, I'm almost finished shuffling here. Perfect. Thank you, West End. Thank you for coming back after all these years. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Now, I'm going to use my TarotLumination. So, you know what? First of all, let's just say hello. You got a couple minutes. We'll get you your reading and you can get on with your day, all right? Give me a second. Good evening and welcome. It's TarotLumination. Hope you're all well. And I just want to let you know I'm a real person. I'm here in case anyone's watching who's never been here before. We've been doing this since March 2017 in various forms or another, okay? It's just very different now, okay? The glory days of traditional YouTube tarot and astrology for me are over. I used to just gorge on the channel 40, 50 videos a month, all the readings for all 12 signs for love and relationships, and also another batch of 12 for your spiritual development in your life journey, and then the live readings on the weekends, and so on and so on. I kind of burned out and had a bit of a nervous breakdown, and the channel was viciously destroyed anyway, so it's like, what's the point anymore? I'm still here, I'm still available, I still do what I do. Anyway, thank you, West End. Let's get over here. Let's take care of business. So I'm using the TarotLumination situational spread. I've done thousands of readings for people, some of them all over the world, in various forms or another. Sometimes it's a combination of astrology and tarot. Sometimes I do little mini tarots. Sometimes I do big, heavy duty, let's say, repeat work with different clients. It just depends, okay? My question is about what's coming up in my life and what just happened in my recent past. Okay. Well, I'm not a fortune teller. So let's just. How come I want to rephrase it? It has to be a question because the phrasing of a question is really kind of critical into how you do with this. What now? What now? What now? Relative to what just happened. How about that? I need to wrap my head around it, and so I can work with the cards. So what are we looking at now? What's coming up? What now? What now? What now? Which is very much a futuristic energy based on where you are right now and where you just came from. Okay. So it's a diagnostic. It's just imagine, okay, so just imagine like you've got issues with your vehicle. Like say you have a car, okay? And I've said this analogy many, many times. You're having issues like maybe a weird sound or a weird smell or difficulties running the vehicle, but you don't know what the problem is. You go to a place like AutoZone or something, and they give you free diagnostics. They give you a little machine, and it's a very powerful tool. And they can tell you, oh wow, it's your emissions thingamy, or it's your fuel sensor, or something like that. No wonder you got such and such a blah blah problem. Okay, so now you know what it is, then you can fix it. You've got to reveal it to heal it. That's the whole premise of this channel. It's all about the healing power of love, and that's great because it's infinite, it's everywhere, all the time. But in order for effective healing, it needs to be directed to the source of the issue, and then you can dramatically multiply the healing power of love. Okay. All right, let's have a look. So the diagnostics will zone in for us. Okay. It's really kind of a question of trust. Okay, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Okay, West End, we want to get on with this because we've only got a few minutes. All right, what messages do we have for West End regarding what's coming up based on where things were? All right, let's have a look here. Bless this deck, bless every single card. Bless the camera, the technologies, the microphones, all the multiple softwares, everything operating simultaneously. Cables, the internet, the platform. Yay. Read what I wrote. And some stuff just happened that were negative, and I want to know what I should know about it, I guess. Getting perspective. Okay. Okay, all right. So I feel comfortable for where I am right now. Sometimes it's really hard to zero in because there are lots of little multiple issues that condense into a simple thing that you could say, I'm concerned about something. Cheers, okay? All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at surrounding influences. Now, I did mention on the Astrodoodle that we've got a tremendous amount of very supportive, energetic, loving, sacred geometry with those trines and sextiles all multiplied around Taurus. So the Taurus energy itself can be very, very stabilizing. Now, even if you might have, let's say, strong Scorpio influences or something that's traditionally challenging with Taurus, the fact that it's so heavily supportive, it's good for everybody on the planet, okay? So that's very supportive energy out there. It's probably no coincidence that you're here tonight on such a benevolent piece of sacred geometry, while at the same time there's a super hyper stressful big fat T-square, which is affecting everybody, of course, too. So let's have a look. Okay, we've got the Ace of Wands in a kind of surrounding energy. So what I'm sensing from here for you, West End, is that whether you like it or know it or not, you're kind of exactly where you need to be, in the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right reasons, and the right locations and everything like that, okay? So the question is, are you aware of that? If so, what are you going to do about it? Because this is the energy of sacred opportunity, and that's very much to do with the sextiles that we're talking about right now. There's multiple sextiles happening simultaneously, so that's tremendous energy of opportunity. Sextiles can translate as opportunity, benevolence. Very heavily supported by the trines, okay? So it's a beautiful, beautiful energy field. It's out there, it's available to you. But it's the energy of sacred opportunity. It's almost like an amazing chance to completely reboot, restart, recalibrate your life from a new perspective. Perhaps, I'm not saying completely throw out the old and start something new. All I'm suggesting is you kind of do, you know how you take your phone or you take a computer or a tablet and you just say, you know what, I want to just clear the system. You just shut down all your softwares, everything, close up all the files, blah, blah, blah. Make your device very neat and clean and tidy, then power off. Let everything power off, let the whole device reset, and then poof, comes back on again. It's a really nice way to like clean house, and it can cure a lot of problems very, very quickly. So that's what I'm sensing here with the Ace of Wands. Let me illustrate that here, okay? Okay, trine, harmony, sextile, opportunity multiplied by opportunity, multiplied by opportunity. So it's very good. I believe that this Ace of Wands is very much about opportunity for this aspect of your life. So I'm not going to go into deep in the astrology, but I believe that if we did a deep astrology reading in private, you would discover that there might be a significant Taurus vibe or something aligned to it or contrasting to it somewhere in your chart, which represents a point of sacred opportunity. If you're aware, if you wanted to get used to it, it might be to do with money. Taurus is very much about money. It might be to do with your earthly reality, to do with things like sources of money, gifts, talents, resources. Where's your money coming from? Where's it going to? And having your sovereign wealth and ownership of your finances, a chance to get your life in order. This is an amazing energy of sacred opportunity to grab the moment and do a quick reboot, just as if you're going to the car, O'Reilly's or AutoZone or something, and you do the initial plug-in. This is what happens. You can go, because we're still in Mercury retrograde, okay? So things can get a little bit glitchy. We're right on the cusp here of Mercury retrograde, so things can get a little bit glitchy with people's communications and understandings of what's going on. So if you were at the dealer, they would plug in the diagnostic tool and it would come up with a bunch of readings, and it would confuse the technician, and the technician would say, you know what, do you mind if I just unhook the battery on your car, wait for 30 seconds, reconnect it, boot everything up again in your car, and then do the diagnostics again. I hope that makes sense to you. I find it easy to relate with car analogies because pretty much everybody and that I know has a vehicle and they have to deal with it. So, so let's move on from there. What about the situation itself? Okay, there might be some recent trauma or damage to you personally that might have come at you. Now, this is not a cups card, remember? Okay, this is actually a swords card. So you might have been through a very, let's say, shaky, painful moment recently in regard to a relationship dynamic. A lot of times this comes up in a relationship dynamic where there's you and there's someone else, and there may have existed some kind of, people would often use the word loving dynamic, and then something tragic and painful happens. There's a third party interference, somebody had an affair, or somebody betrayed someone else, or somebody left somebody else, maybe something like that, and it can be very, very painful. And a lot of times people get very, very rattled with this energy. Of course, it just depends on the reading, but I'm not saying this is to do with love and romance. All I'm suggesting is that you might have been very shaken up by some kind of unexpected, perhaps even a betrayal of some kind. Maybe it was recent, and then you're left with wondering, well, what now? What now? What now? It's almost like the energy, to me, I'm feeling like it's almost like the energy of sabotage. Like maybe in some way you were sabotaged, or maybe you unwittingly sabotaged yourself, or perhaps even sabotaged someone else, thinking that you were actually, just doing a perfectly legitimate tit for tat. You said, okay, there's no relationship, okay? Maybe no relationship. Okay, so if there's no traditional, okay, I see what you're saying, okay, that's a note from Love Traveler West. Every situation in a relationship, not always romantic. Okay, yes, okay, well, now that's making sense, because this could be very nasty, and it's very, I've had to deal with so many personal life stories of people who have been literally sabotaged by other people. Malicious, deliberate sabotage. Nasty stuff. Now, of course, that can leave a wound. I'm sorry, my throat is very fragile this evening, so I'm probably going to have to take things very gently. Okay, well, there we are. We are affirming. So, okay, so we're off to we're kind of like zeroing in on the situation. Now, what are the challenges here? So, if the sabotage has hurt you in some way, especially if it's to do with your material sense of life and stability in this world, where it's almost like, I don't want to say it's directly with more, I don't want to say it's directly to do with money, but it could be to do with your sense of stability and resources and abundance in life, in the way that it's all, with the energy of sabotage here, and with the Seven of Pentacles over here, it's there. To me, it feels like if you're not sure that someone sabotaged you, my feeling is that this reading will affirm that you have been sabotaged, or you are actively being sabotaged. It's not the end of the world, because you do have a fearsomely powerful energy field available to you on your side. So, with the Seven of Pentacles here, it might be that you might be fearful of having time, energy, resources, money, career, wealth, savings, 401ks, IRAs, inheritances, jobs, things like that. Anything to do with the stability in your life, especially if it comes to money and resources. There's a fear that the sabotage, let's say it's real and it does exist, it could be so significant that it ties up all these beautiful pentacle energies, which represents wealth, abundance, resources of all kinds, including your time, your energy, your talents, your gifts, your money, your earnings, all those kind of worldly things of substance. It could be in such a way that the nature of the sabotage could be to do with entanglement, where if it's financial sabotage, maybe banks or banking relationships. If it's something to do with money, I don't want to be too precise because I don't think I can be here. But if you're being blocked about being able to, develop your skills or grow your finances, because there are I've already talked about global finance patterns, but it's also personal finance, because that eclipse that we just had was on this axis here. Okay, that's when the moon was here. That was on what day was it? I forgot, but it was like 2, 4, 6, almost about a week ago. Almost a week ago. It was a little over a week ago, and I had these big scary. I don't know if I got some old charts. Yeah, I think I do. Okay, scary stuff. 16th of May. That's coming up. Then we had 5th of May. We had, anyway. You see this axis here? Super hyper stressful. That was some eclipse energy right there. Moon in Scorpio, and of course, as we've seen, there is a major global financial crisis unfolding, and that can affect you personally. So, because a lot of people are actually being damaged, sabotaged, and damaged in their finances by people that you would supposedly normally trust. That is not good. Okay? So it's not financial. Okay, well, that actually could be a relief. I guess it depends how you define resources, because I'm thinking like Pentacles here is about very measurable things of value, okay? Something that could be stolen, undermined, or something that could be tied up in legal matters in such a way that it becomes very difficult to access perhaps a trust fund or something like that. Maybe there's some relatives or something. I don't know what that is, been deep, but that's very distressing here, okay? You're being asked to take a break for something small I did? Going there for a really long time, it seems super extreme. I think it may be coming from one person. Nasty. Sounds nasty. Alright, so, let's have a look. Maybe it's vindictive, Anyway, let's see the question is, if it doesn't feel justified or if it's not fair, then, and if someone's trying to undermine you in such ways, and you don't deserve it, number one, and you don't feel or believe that you deserve it, number two, then that's painful, okay? Let's have a look. How are we going to deal with this? Okay, so I think it's about recalibrating and recertifying yourself. And, okay, if you're in a situation, if it seems super extreme and they might be trying to sabotage you and stop you from going to this place that you frequent, and you've been going there for a long time, what I'm sensing here is that it might be an idea not to take it too personally, even though you might feel as though it's very personal, okay? And, okay, I see what you're saying here, correct. It does not seem fair. I did do something small that wasn't okay, but the reaction was extreme. Okay, fair enough. And it sounds like someone's being really vicious and vindictive Number one, because they can. Some people really enjoy being that way when they have an opportunity or an excuse. Remember, this energy of opportunity can also be highly abused by other people. This energy is flooding your situation right now, and you can take advantage of that personally, especially if you don't take your situation personally, and you understand that it might be, you just might be, exactly, Love Triber. It might be a blessing in disguise, where it's getting you to a point where you realize, well, maybe I do need a break. And then you recalibrate yourself and you remind yourself, dear West End, look in the mirror. Remember that you are a woman of substance. You are a woman of values. You are a person of great value to others. And you have risen to this rank of Queen of Pentacles through your own efforts, okay? So it's almost a reminder that you, to me, it makes me feel that you're actually, West End, you are above all this, okay? That's how I'm looking at it here. You might take it very personally, but remember, the eclipse just happened. And eclipses have a way of like removing people or situations from people's lives that you could not do on your own. So the eclipses act as evolutionary gateways. It's like a pressure, like it's like you're being pushed into an evolutionary leap that you would normally not take willingly on your own. And then you have to evolve because you can't go back. Okay? So to me, it makes me feel like a simple way to deal with this situation is understand that, perhaps it is for your blessings, for your good, that you don't go back. You don't need to go back there. Maybe you were comfortable in like South Node type energy or something like that. It's so tempting to want to stick with things that where you're comfortable and all that. People, places, habits, activities, and so on. But with the Queen of Pentacles, it makes me feel like, hey, okay, I'm going to get personal here. I'm going to do some acting. Okay, it's like, hey, West End, please understand, okay, it's not the end of the world. If you take this personally as though, like, oh, somebody hates me, or somebody is sabotaging me and punishing me for vindictive reasons, but perhaps it's their opportunity to be nasty and vicious to somebody because they've got other crappy issues in their lives and they're taking it out on you. It's like, so what? Okay, so you did something bad and maybe it's healed, it's not healed. It's at the point where that becomes irrelevant. What counts is right now. What now, what now, what now? And with the Queen of Pentacles, to me it looks like it's a reminder, like, you're awesome anyway. Let's say you are being sabotaged. Let's say the evolutionary pressure from the eclipse is reaching a point of critical mass where if you insist on going back, all you're going to do is recycle the sabotage and the misery. There's no point in trying to fix somebody like that. It's almost to the point, you know what? Why bother? Fuck you. I don't really need you. I know. Like Love Triber says, maybe a blessing, okay? So, with the Queen of Pentacles, just take it from here, from the reading. The whole point of the reading is like at the conclusion here. Pretend I'm on my diagnostic machine at AutoZone, and basically the diagnostic tool is saying, you're just fine. What you're suffering from is your car, your vehicle of life, which is you, your physical body, is just fine. But you're dealing with what would be the equivalent of a piece of road rage some time ago where you upset somebody because of your own errors. Okay, it happens. But it's almost like you're carrying it as a non-healing wound. and you just have to kind of get over it. Screw that other person. You don't need them. It's almost like let it go and get back to remembering that you're just fine. You're just fine. You're more than just fine. Okay? You got good values. You have high value. You are a woman of substance. So it's almost like it's below you to take this sabotage in a personal manner. It's time for you to rise above that and evolve and change accordingly and live in your highest frequencies and get away from the toxicity of the sabotage. I hope that makes sense, okay? I hope that helps you, West End. Now, Gregory said, what now? For me to yell, put me ahead of Tina. Okay! All right! Sorry for being harsh, but what a waste of a reading. Well, Gregory doesn't think so. All right, let's have a look here. Okay. Okay, let's not get into a fight about the value of the reading. It's okay. It was just another TarotLumination reading, and I'm just hoping that West End got something out of it, okay? Okay. Thank you, Tina, for being gracious. Gregory wants his reading right now. Give me a second, folks. I'm just going to do some recalibrating here to keep the show going. Got multiple, a lot of stuff going on just to do one tiny little show, okay? Got to keep it rolling. Got to double check things. Yeah, everything's good. Yep. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Thank you very much for asking. We're good. All donations and kindness is fully on track. Thank you, everybody. All right. So how about this? How about this, folks? Gregory wants his reading right now. Everybody wants their reading right now tonight. So let's do it. And then we'll go back and talk about the Astrodoodle, or maybe we'll just keep rolling and we'll do the reading, the other reading, okay? Oh, I know. Honestly, I know what you're saying. That's actually was kind of what I was talking about before the reading even started. Like if a person is seriously rattled about something, and there's a lot of what you could call like built static, it's almost like static electricity. It builds up inside if there's anger, confusion, maybe rage, resentment, inability to process effectively because of the toxic energy messing up your system, then it can be actually very difficult to phrase the so-called question, the situation, the subject. I prefer to just call it the subject. What is the subject of the reading? Sabotage, betrayal, okay? So we could have started like that, but we had to kind of like, every situation, every client, every visitor is different, and you had to deal with everybody in their own unique ways. If I was too rigid about things, like you have to say this, and this, and this, I think it would alienate people, and I would alienate myself from people. Okay. Okay, so I didn't mean to. Yeah, so when you say a better question could have been asked, yes, because it was about getting to the kernel of the matter. So again, go back to the car analogy. Let's pretend West End was really stressed out and anxious about a situation. Came to AutoZone. Hey, AutoZone Tech. And so Rebecca's saying, oh, it's this, it's that, it's that, it's this. Oh, and the technician is going, okay, I got that. Okay, listening very carefully. But what the technician, i.e. TarotLumination, the reader, is actually focusing on is just getting plugged in with the diagnostics and seeing what comes up. I mean, West End, I remember you now. I remember you. So it would be great to hang out again. Okay. So with Mercury, okay, let's put it this way. Let's neutralize everything. Mercury is it's at the moment of stationary direct. Okay. So that means the Mercury journey was going here, and then it went retrograde. And now it's here, stationary, ready to go direct again, over here. So when you get to those points, the moment of stationary retrograde, the moment of stationary retrograde, and then the moment of stationary direct, those are the points of critical mass where it's the easiest and most likely for confusion to happen. So we're right on cue with communication. So let's blame it on the planets. Yay! Okay. Okay. So regarding the let's say what I just said, confusion on the question itself, we're going to blame it on the planets. Right? No harm, no foul. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, West End. I remember now. Gosh, we had a really jolly time when we did your reading. God, that's years ago. Wow. Thank you for coming back and hanging out. I hope to see you again. Okay, so we got to get on with things. Mr. Ross is waiting in the wings over here. Okay. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so okay, so what's up for Mr. Ross here? What kind of messages do we have for Mr. Ross? Let's have a look. All right, Mr. Ross, thank you for visiting and hanging out with everybody here tonight. It's wonderful. I really love our little community, our little family, okay? Let's have a look. Okay. All right. What kind of diagnostics do we have here for Mr. Ross tonight? What kind of messages? Card cards. Nicely shuffled. I just love this deck. It's pristine. It is literally like brand new. We've done hundreds and hundreds of readings. I've got the other Golden Universal. I've got my old deck. Does anybody remember this one from, let's say, 2017? Look at this. This one's from 2017. It's still a beautiful deck, but you can see it's very high mileage. Oh boy. All right, let's have a look. What's going on, man? Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I wonder what time it is on my watch. Oh, I could check. I could actually find out what time it is right now on my Timex. The beauty of Timex. Ticka ticka Timex. I'm going to need some more tea. Actually, no, it's okay. I'll get that in a little break. I'll give myself a little mini micro break and get a top up, okay? All right, let's have a look here. All right, Mr. Ross. You know the routine. Let's get our invisible friends all gathered around. Take care of business. So, I'm just getting one of those vibe things, like those psychic medium type vibes, where we are in a very cozy, luscious, warm, cocoon type of safe place this evening, where it's almost like it's perfectly okay for us to just indulge in ourselves a little bit, and let's graciously acknowledge the wonderful gifts that we've had and that we've shared with each other over the years, and the abundance of invisible friends that occupy this show on a regular basis, because we really couldn't do it without them. Okay, I was talking the other day about how the healing power of love works through us, so that we are instruments, we are vessels. We invoke it. We ask for the healing power of love to fill our body, mind, heart, and soul from above. It's done by invocation. Then we own that amazing energy. It's like an energy, like a vortex inside of us, like out of a science fiction movie or something. And then it's up to us. What are we going to do with that? How are you going to transmit the healing power of love? So the healing power of love comes into you. You are now the owner, and then you can transmit that. So you are a receiver and a transmitter. You are a transceiver. You transmit and you receive. Actually, you have to receive first in order to be able to transmit. Okay? All right, let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. All right, let's have a look. Surrounding energies. We've got 9 of Swords. Okay, so am I feeling this is like the reverberations of all the stress you've been dealing with lately? Now, this might not even be you. This could be, I don't think this is you. I think this is just the energy of maybe a certain individual or a certain group of individuals that are highly stressed. Or it could be just the energy of this, okay? This is a super stressful aspect right now. I don't want to scare people because there's so much love and bounty and benevolence going on here. But at the same time, on the whole of planet Earth, there is some fearsome, violent, ugly stuff happening on a massive scale, and it's becoming very combustible. Okay? Like people are busting out of their skins right now, and violence is one of those things that people do when they reach like a stressful breaking point. Now, I'm not saying that's you, Mr. Ross, or anything like that, but there is on a global scale. Okay, forget all those beautiful trines and sextiles I just showed you earlier in the show. Let's focus on that big T-square. That big T-square is extremely hyper-stressful, highly combustible, very dangerous, and it's very stressful for a lot of people. In the United States alone, there are people who are literally freaking out, stressed out of their freaking minds. Friends, family, finances, health, home, career, direction, purpose, meaning, all of it completely imploding, multiple layers of stress all around. It's happening to individuals, it's happening to America. And some people get to the point, and it's really, really happening, where people lash out. There's nothing here lashing out. But I'm saying we're at a point of, this is a point of critical mass. We're just coming out of the Mercury retrograde. We just came out of the eclipses. We're heading towards the 16th, which is, it's not a full moon, it's not a new moon. It just happens to be, thank you, Path Traveler, a point of really serious critical mass. Now, I don't know, I don't want to scare you, Gregory, but yesterday, a massive bomb went off in the Ukraine-Russia war, much bigger than anything we've seen so far. And that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, where in a war situation, there's the Ukraine folks, there's the Russian folks, and they are just so stressed out. The only solution is, the only way they can release the stress is violence. And it's so much stress, it's coming out as highly explosive, highly combustible violence. People on people. Now, in order to handle this, of course, if you're not scared at all, but outside of you, in the world around you, outside of you, what I'm suggesting here with this card is that there's a whole lot of pain and suffering out there. Luckily, if you're not being affected, that's great. But externally, in the world at large, it's on a massive scale. Well, it's all path. Let me come back to that, okay? Let's have a look. Here's the situation itself. Okay, so we've got the Five of Pentacles. Now you said you're not worried. Where is it? No, I'm not scared at all. Thank you so much. Okay. So with the Five of Pentacles here, it might be, you know, we've been doing private readings and things for a while. Okay, Gregory? And you have a history of being a noble savior for the downhearted. And the people who often have, you know, not such a good chance of representing themselves, people who can be exploited by other people and ruined in relationships. And so with the Five of Pentacles, my feeling is that it's almost like the energy, to me it feels like it's almost like the energy of, this is going to sound like a very unconventional interpretation of the Five of Pentacles here, but because we've worked together before, I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway here. And the way I'm reading this for you, Gregory, with the Five of Pentacles, is that you've built up a good, let's say, a good reputation in your life, in your world, there are people who fear you, but there are people who love you, okay? And you've built up a reputation of being able to take care of the people who are damaged physically and financially. And it becomes magnetic, like word gets out. Okay, so let's put it this way. Let's do a bit of acting. It's like you get one happy person, you take care of them, you do a good job, word gets out. You know? And like it's almost like soon you attract the downtrodden and the needy who need you. Okay? Anyway, I'm seeing this as kind of a surrounding type of energy. Okay? Okay? Okay, all right. Sarcasm, I get it. Okay, so let me go back over here. I have a little bit of a secondary thought with the card here, the Five of Pentacles. It's going forward. If you're going to be going through big changes in life about how you conduct your life, it's going to be extremely important on being highly discriminating and selective about the company that you keep going forward. Because since you have a natural empathic nature and a desire to do the right thing by people, and when you get recognized as someone who can do that and stand up to the fierce energy of opposition, of the big bad world outside, then you could perpetuate a situation that might not, work for you as much as you wanted. Because I remember you were talking about how you might have been wanting to move away from these situations where it's constantly having to help and represent people who can't help or represent themselves. And it can be very heavy, a very heavy burden. You might be bringing great joy and abundance to others and clients and whatever like that. But you might have reached a point where, it's becoming burdensome for you. I just wanted to add that little extra layer. Okay, let's have a look. What's the problem here? Okay, your own happiness. I think what we're dealing with here in this reading is kind of a multiple layered reading where there is the energy field out there in your world, your life, your activities, the things that you do, all the scary stuff happening in your neighborhood, in the world, all the horrible things that human beings do to each other, and it brings incredible stress at the personal level, but also at the planetary level. And there's you dealing with it in a professional manner, which does involve money. The interchange of money representing value of one person. How do you value someone's life? How can you put a price on someone's life? And you're immersed in all this stuff all the time, and it can be very stressful. And you get to the point with the Ten of Cups here, like, what about me? What about abundance and happiness and the sense of coziness and family in my life, in my world? Because I deserve that. Is there anyone out there representing me, taking care of me in my times of need, in my deficiencies, in my deepest senses of fear and sensitivity? Because even though you're very gifted and very powerful at what you do and how you do it, you're still a human being, and you have a very big, soft heart. And you deserve to love and be loved in a way that you might not feel that you have right now. And it's to the point with the Ten of Cups where, like, deep inside, like, okay, so I've got this world going on here. Sometimes it's very stressful and it involves a lot of money and things like that. But, what about me? What about me? What about the love in my life? Who can I cuddle up with? Where can I leave a legacy? How can I leave a legacy? Does anybody out there love me? Is there anybody out there I can love who loves me in return, so it's reciprocal? That's a very idealistic type of energy, okay? And, of course, when you have that kind of energy of, like perfect love, let me go back to this thing here. Remember, okay, we're dealing with the energy of perfection here. Neptune is in Pisces at the very high degrees. The moon is conjunct Neptune at high degrees. So there's this Neptunian Pisces vibe going on. Okay, Mr. Ross, I know you know a lot about this. And it is infused and overlaid with Saturn. So you're being tested here. So my feeling is that your natural... with Neptune energy, things become idealized. Like, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody was loving? And when we say, be loving, be loved. Well, if everybody did that, if everybody was loving, then we could all be loved. And we wouldn't have all this horrible stuff that's happening on the earth today. We wouldn't have all this crippling, highly inappropriate, out of balance poverty on a global scale. And instead what we have is a grotesquely unbalanced world in terms of the way humans are with each other. So with the Neptune energy here, very close to the moon, it's super hypersensitive. And so you might be feeling like the idealization of Neptune, which would be love in its purest form. The way it would manifest in something like this, the highest form of love, where you would feel it in a three-dimensional manner right here on earth right now, and in terms of like a person, a place, a legacy, like literally like having someone you can cuddle with who loves to cuddle with you and everything that goes with it, What about me? What about me? So this is a super ultra sensitive point. It's harmonized with Mars in Cancer. It's sextiled over here with the Taurus energy. So it's just that you might be at a point where, since there is so much benevolence with all those green lines, it might give you enough moment of sacred geometry, the timing of the planets in such a way that you can actually allow this type of thought or energy of feeling to come to the surface of your consciousness. Okay, you've been dealing with so much stress and hardship, and you've come out the other side, and you're good, and you're strong. So it's all proven, it's fact. But you get back to the very core of you, in your life, in your world. Well, what about me? Is there anybody out there representing me in dealing with my own internal, deep internal challenges, where there might be deficiencies or lack, or if we've never even had the chance to have a taste of the ideal, beautiful thing called love, however we define that? So that could be like a super ultra soft, deeply private, tender subject that you wouldn't really want to talk about openly. And yet here we are having a live reading, and that's what I'm sensing. How are we going to deal with this going forward? So this looks like the contrast between your outer world and your deep internal world happening simultaneously. How are we going to deal with it going forward? Okay, let's get back to basics, okay? Absolute basics. It's time to shore up your own world in the physical sense, so that you can perhaps like create. Okay, this is there are some interpretations of the Four of Pentacles where it's about building your own home, building your own castle, fortifying your existing home, fortifying your castle, your the place where you sleep, where you are secure. With the Four of Pentacles, my feeling is it's time, in order to have a chance to access even a glimpse or a taste of this beautiful, beautiful energy. It makes me feel as though you've got to secure your home internally, like yourself, in the material sense, so that your finances are balanced out. Your home is balanced out. Like if your home, your house, your dwelling needs any kind of maintenance and it costs money, it's very important to take care of that right now. It's also, I think, very important, you might want to think about security for where you live, for where you sleep, personal defense, things like that. Locks, keys, windows, doors, gates, lights, cameras, all those kinds of things to create stability in the home so that you feel a lot more cozy and safe. So, say for example, you're out and about living your life, and right now your home is essentially just a place where you hang out. You've got a certain degree of coziness, but it's not quite ideal. And what can happen is, it's almost like going to a level of extreme here and turning your home into a castle or a fortress and making it very stable. Maybe it's not even this home. Maybe it's about creating a new home or something. We've talked about those things before. But doing it in such a way that things are very secure. And when you've got that as a vortex and you're at the center of it, then the place where you sleep radiates an aura of safety and protection, where it can be like an incubator where love can occur. And that comes through you as an aura, and other people can sense that. And it might be, I'm really stretching the reading here in a way, but Gregory, I'm just telling you what I'm sensing, what I'm feeling, is that by creating the incubator, the environment, the fortress, the castle, the place of deep safety and security, which is the place where you sleep, it brings you deep peace of mind, body, heart, and soul. And that radiates throughout the day, even if you're not at the place where you sleep. And then that attracts a higher level of love, maybe the kind of love that you really want and that you really need, but had never thought about it in the ways that we're talking about here. In other words, you take care of business. You take care of you. You create the incubator, the environment that attracts what you need. In other words, you don't go out hunting. You don't go out expecting to score or expecting to have this land in your lap. I'm suggesting exactly the opposite. Create the environment where you are no longer affected by this stuff here. And you have your own castle, your own fortress, and your own deep, deep, profound sense of security and privacy and wealth and abundance, and nobody can take it from you. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So maybe it's about downsizing and simplifying, or maybe it's about relocating, or maybe it's just about stabilizing your existing quarters. And then, once that's sorted out, you have a deep, even deeper sense of peace and serenity, and that comes out of you like an aura, and that can attract like perhaps a very highly sensitive and appropriate type of equivalent love is attracted to you in return. So we're talking about the laws of attraction, activating the laws of attraction to work for you, so that you don't have to go and fight for the things that you want and things that you need and deserve. Okay? It's all about creating it from within and allowing the laws of attraction to work for you. Agree? All right, so let's leave that. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense to you, Gregory. It's a bit of a windy road the way I did the reading here, but it felt very, very clear to me, okay? So I hope that helps you. So let's go back. We got to do a reading for Tina. Let's see. Tina is still hearing. Okay, let's go over here. All right, so you know what? I'm just going to have water, okay? I'm just going to have water. I got a backup supply right here. Tina, you're up. Now, I've really had very little chance to check in on the chat much, but I can tell that there's been a lot of conversation, and there has been a theme with Tina talking about the finances on her amazing opportunity with her own dwelling, okay? So we're going to read for Tina right now. I'm going to shuffle it up. So again, of course. Okay, so let's do the reading for Tina, okay, Path? And then we'll come back. We'll talk about Mars into Leo. We'll talk about the 16th, where Mars is on the cusp, that area. Because we're already there. We're already really on the cusp. It's so tight. Let me look at the exact degrees. Hold on, okay? Thank you, West End. Okay, so today is the 14th. Okay, so we're at the 26 mark. 27, 28, 29, 30, 0. So literally, in 1 week, we're going to be going up across the point of critical mass. Okay? The 16th is the tricky part of the exact opposition. The 19th, we are at the critical degree, the anaretic degree right here. I don't know if you could see it. I'll point to it for you. That's on the 19th here. Do you see that? I hope you can see it I hope so. Come on, cameras, please. The cameras and the lights are doing the best they can. There we go. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but that's, there it is. 29.5 degrees. That is the point of critical mass, and that's on the 20th, but it's also the 19th, okay? So that's the anaretic degree. That's the degree of desperation and extreme pressure. So in fact, in terms of the calendar itself, we're looking at multiple days here, because this is the Mars energy that Path is talking about. Okay, here's Mars, and the exact moment is over here on the 16th. That's a very critical moment, but the days leading up to it and the days after are also very critical. It's just that, you know, things go in waves and cycles. They don't go in like steps. Like on the charts here, it looks like it's in steps. One row, the next row, the next row. But it actually is a continuous flow. It's a flow. So we're reaching a peak. So the energy of Mars at the stress point goes like this. Because within a few days, Mars will already be in Leo at the 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 degree mark. Okay? Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so there's a lot of discussion, it seems, on the chat screen. I'm seeing it here regarding finance and stuff, real estate finance, construction, mortgages, closing, deals, and all that big money, okay? Now, I don't know if that's what's going to come up for you, Tina, but Tina, you've always been very gracious and generous, and you've often, most often not, just let me do my blind readings, which gives me a lot of freedom. And I love that. I really appreciate it. It requires a lot of trust from the clients to do that, but I feel very valued. Thank you. Oh, West End doesn't chat. Well, it doesn't disrupt me, but I mean, there are different shows that I've watched. Some of the people that I love to do, they have these. Their whole show is about the chat. So they'll have a little segment where they're talking for like 10, 20 minutes or something, and they'll tell everybody, okay, now we're going to go to questions from the chat. And they might have a 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000, 3,000 people in the chat. And you have to have ways of managing that. I don't have a channel manager. I don't have any of those things. Okay? So I get glimpses here and there because I have a couple of monitors operating simultaneously, so I can kind of see what I'm doing in the studio while I'm doing it. And I also have to operate all the controls. So there's a lot of chat that scrolls by and I just miss it. Okay? But every now and again, something grabs my eye and I see it. And I just see it, and I assume that it's like a little bit relevant at that moment in time. That's all. All right, let's have a look here. What messages do we have here for Tina tonight? Going through a very exciting chapter. Let's have a look. Okay, I did a huge split coming right there. Okie dokie. All right, here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. There's always challenges, and here's how we're going to deal with it. Okay, let's have a look. Situation externals. There we go. We got 6 of Pentacles here. Okay, so my feeling is that the Taurus energy, whether you have any, I can't remember your chart offhand, Tina, but whether you have any significant Taurus obvious energies in the chart, or whether you don't, it kind of doesn't matter here. What I'm seeing with this, with the 6 of Pentacles, is the external energy of money, because the theme seems to be money tonight, where there's a lot of energy piled up in the Taurus sector. Okay, we've got the Taurus North Node. Mercury in Taurus heading stationary direct. So this is a point of critical mass right here. We've got Uranus in Taurus right here, and the Sun in Taurus. Now this is very combustible. Sun and Uranus together can make things hyper combustible. And that's including global finances. So, you know, I've talked about this a lot. The global financial landscape right now is extremely combustible, highly volatile. It's like a massive overgrown forest that is full of kindling, and it's ready to burst into flames the way they had the California wildfires a while back. So anyway, if you look at this sector here and look at it from basic points, Taurus energy, second house, it's all about money. values, your values, your gifts, your talents, but in some ways like raw money. Raw money. How you have your money, what is your money, what are your values. This would be a day job, this would be a career, this would be other people's money. And of course we went through the eclipses recently where we learned that there's a tremendous dysfunction between the world of other people's money. In other words, banks, bankers, mortgages, lenders, credit cards, car payment companies, the stock market, savings, retirements, pension plans, the federal government, the federal treasury, all those kinds of things. That's money outside of you. But in America and a lot of places in the world, people take their own personal money and they deliberately put it into the world of other people's money without realizing the extreme risks and the extreme, a very unfair reality of what actually happens in the world of other people's money. And that whole belief system is coming unraveled at the moment. So it's very, very important. In my particular world, I'm aligning with people who are very much about owning their money. There are a lot of people are taking money out of the banks right now and turning it into gold or silver. They're literally taking cash out of the bank account, wads of cash, however much you can or however much you dare, and going to your local coin shop and buying gold and silver, because then you can stack it and own it. And these people up here, the shadow side of Scorpio, the unhealthy aspects of Scorpio energy in terms of other people's money, won't affect you so much, because you will have your own sovereign wealth. Like they say, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And so the subject of money looks very important here, and have to bring things into harmony and balance. You, Tina, have been a tremendous benefactor to other people in your world. It's because you're a bit of a compassion junkie. That was established years ago when we first started hanging out at the channel here and everything. And it's something that you do. You are a healer by nature. It's been your career. It's how you have earned your money. It's how you've taken care of yourself and taken care of other people. Now it's time for you to take care of you and bring things into balance and harmony. And that includes your finances. So it's very, very important. I think the subject of finances has been on the screen a lot. It's very important, what I would call cash flow here. Money in, money out. So money in is the money that you get from things like a day job, your own personal resources, and then the money out is where it's going on your property, your development, your real estate, building your home, building your castle, all that stuff. And it has to be done in a very, very delicate, well-managed, harmonious way, so that you don't end up out of pocket and somebody, there's an imbalance where someone else is benefiting unfairly in terms of having possession and access of your resources. That is not allowed. On the other hand, at the same time, that's on the understanding that in order to take care of business and get done what has to be done, there will be an outflow of resources, cash, expenditures to get things done. But like Path was saying, it has to be done in an extremely, extremely well-managed way so that the giver and the receiver are in harmony. Okay? And I think that means having really clear understandings. I think it means, like in terms of dispersal of funds, there has to be some very well thought out process so that funds can be dispersed, so that you are not trusting an entity and then they run off with it, or they bodge things up and then you're screwed. Instead, I mean, I'm being honest with you here, Tina. We all know that things can go really badly wrong with real estate and property development, and there's a lot of serious criminal activity in the world of real estate development, real estate lending and borrowing, especially if you go to China, okay? It's bad here, but it's much worse in China. What I'm trying to say is that it sounds really simple, but money is an important issue right now. What's that saying? You have to be your own contractor. Okay, and that's sometimes really, really tough, because it would be so nice to trust your contractor to take care of everything for you and tell them, hey, listen, contractor, if I give you all this money, will you just make this happen? Okay? And they kind of go, oh, sure, I'll make that happen. No problem. Let me just go fuel up my truck, and I'll be right back. Give me the check. I'll deposit it into the construction account, and I'll be right back. We'll start planning things out. We'll order the timber. We'll get the plans, and we'll do it. And then, bye-bye. Okay? So, it just seems... it's not just vetting your contractor. It's what I'm suggesting here. When I see the Six of Pentacles here, you're stuck in the middle, Tina. That's the energy. It's outside of you. To me, it's like a message where to get things in harmony and balance, you're going to have to be in the middle of the cash flow. Well, you are already, obviously, but there's to me, it feels like it would be very dangerous to outsource the responsibility of ultimate oversight to a contractor or to the contractor. In other words, you would have to have oversight over the contractor on a daily basis, to the point where the contractor is like, get the uck out of my face, lady, I'm just trying to do my job. And then you would say, well, as a matter of fact, I'm just doing my job. Okay? If you don't like working this way, you're fired. You know, that kind of thing. So in other words, everyone is being the contractor, and the contractor who's contracting all the work out to the framing, the construction, the concrete, the tiling, the electric, the plumbing, the heating, the septic, the landscaping, all of that would be done through a general contractor. And all I'm saying here is that to get things to work properly, it's like you're going to have to be the ultimate general contractor. Okay? I don't know how else to put it, okay? Path knows a lot about this stuff, probably more than I do, but I've been involved in construction. I've done remodeling and things like that. And I've seen what can happen to contractors and how they get screwed by people. And I've also seen how contractors screw the clients. So you got to be very, very, very careful. And it's your money, so you're the one who has to be ultimately most responsible and most careful. My voice is fading rapidly, okay? Sorry, I hope I don't fade out, okay? Let's have a look here. Here's the situation itself. Absolutely, Tina. This is a no-brainer. You are the boss of the money. You hold the purse strings. And you must maintain your supremacy throughout the whole of your situation with this huge new chapter of your life. Because you're not allowed to screw up. You're not allowed to have any slight chance of you being screwed over or sabotaged or undermined or deceived, betrayed by other parties, okay? Let's put it this way. This is a highly I'm talking about this about World War III, but it's also regarding world finances. This represents real money, okay? Let's just say this represents your real money, all your hard-earned cash, money, wealth that is going to be expended in your projects, okay? This is under extreme duress right now. So it means you're going to have to be extremely careful because you're going to have to trust other people with your money to get stuff done. But like what path is, do things incrementally, like you're spoon feeding things, job by job by job. Like if you need to, or for example, look at it this way. I mean, taking it absolutely to the extreme. I'm trying to do some home improvements myself. And so what I like to do is think very long term. I like to sketch things out, plan things out, see materials, touch materials, do estimates for different scenarios about how it's done, find out the most optimal way to get to the certain result that you need. Like somebody might recommend to you that you need to have a certain type of quality plywood when you do the framing and stuff like that, whereas you might only need some sheathing, okay? There's a dramatic difference between the cost of just sheathing, which can do a perfectly decent job, and then you put the exteriors on that, rather than super like high quality plywood, which is wonderful to have. But if you don't really need it, why do that? Because some contractors are very, very skillful at, let's say, adding on things that you don't really need. So you have to keep an eye on that. So let's say you've actually figured out, okay, well, we need this much drywall or this much sheathing or plywood or all this much timber for framing, and the contractor gives you a bid. They're like, well, we figured out it's going to be this and this and this. Instead of trusting them just like that, it might be an idea to get another contractor in on the side to say, well, what's your bid? If I show you this plan, can you give me a bid on the framing? Okay, I mean, it's really, really tedious. I mean, if you're really rich, it kind of doesn't matter. Oh, hi, you're a nice contractor. You've done excellent work before. I trust you completely. I've seen you with your model homes and all the excellent reviews. So how much do you need? Oh, okay, here's all the money. When can I move in? Okay, the way I feel it from over here, Tina, that's not going to work. Okay, it would be nice if it could, but it makes me feel is that with the astrology, the way I look at it, you really got to get on top of it, so that there's a fair balance. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. So remember, you're the one with the money. You're the one with the purse strings. Very hard earned, and it's incredibly important to figure out how you're going to be dispersing funds, sharing your time, your energy, and resources to the most optimal outcome possible to get the house that you're in, the building, the situation that you really, really want. Instead of building a nightmare like, oh, it looked great on the plans, and now I'm completely screwed. You know, something like, you don't want that. Well, ideally, what you would want is to come in under budget. Most contracting projects that I've ever learned, they usually, like if somebody estimates, oh, it's $1,000 for this, and it ends up being $1,300. Oh, it's $100,000 for that, and it ends up being $120,000. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It's very important to keep a reserve. There's going to be some kind of emergency or some kind of unexpected expense. So you've got to have that, but you've got to build that in right from the get-go. It has to be built in, the reserve, and you don't touch that unless there's a genuine emergency. But otherwise, you stick very tightly to a really tight budget, and you're the one who disperses the funds, even if it's incrementally, like, oh, a truckload of plywood. Oh, okay, well, we'll do that. Oh, a shipment of ready-mix concrete. Oh, okay, well, we'll do that. Okay, how much is that going to be? You do one item at a time. Oh, we got to do the roofing now. Oh, how much for all the tiles? Can you measure up and give me a quote for all the roofing stuff, all of it. I mean, it's just like, ugh. But it has to be done. Otherwise, the scales are going to tip out of balance, and you're gonna hurt, and it doesn't have to happen. What's the challenges here? Okay. So with the Hierophant, it's like, to me it feels like sticking with a plan, sticking with a very, very traditional approach to things, like a mission statement, like the rules of the road to get things done. So, in other words, a regular, highly respected, highly capable contractor is capable of dealing with large amounts of money, dispersing things themselves. Sometimes they have to have money in hand to do things, to get stuff done. And a very reputable contractor would be able to do that. But those types of contractors are sometimes pretty hard to find. And let's say you do find one. They would probably have a very, very traditional, fixed way of doing business to deliver the results so that they can keep up their reputation. Because like being a chef, you're only as good as the last meal that you cooked. So if the challenge here, to me it feels like finding a highly trustworthy contractor who does things absolutely by the book in a very traditional way. No shortcuts. In other words, if there is a reasonable shortcut and it doesn't interfere with the quality of the work or the delivery of the job, then fine. You factor that into the budget. But if their operating system, remember the Hierophant is very much about tradition and code, is like, Dear Tina, thank you very much. I like your ideas, blah, blah, blah. But there's no way I'm going to do blah, blah, blah on the roofing because I'm sure it's going to cost another $10,000. But if you want me to do blah, 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 it's actually going to become a problem 10 years from now and you're really going to regret it. So my feeling is that the challenge is finding a really good contractor who will work within your parameters, or multiple contractors who will work in your parameters to the very highest standards of the business. And that would be like things are done in a timely manner. Things are done with signed contracts. Things are done with reputable suppliers. Things are done, I don't know, legally in ways that are all done with proper permits, all that stuff, everything being done by the book, okay? But it's also a scary thing because it means you have to trust the contractor. So it's very important to do a lot of screening and homework on whoever ends up being your general contractor, because you're going to have to stay very close to them. And it's almost like be prepared for a potentially very uncomfortable situation now and again where you might have, like, their energy might be so strong that they might say, okay, well, Tina, sure, you might want to have this counter over here or that blah blah over there, but you're asking for structural deficiencies if you put this over here or that over there. So I highly recommend that you don't do that. And then you would say something like, oh, but that's what I really, really want and I can afford it. And you're like, so please understand that, okay? So what are the challenges here? Oh, sorry, how are we going to deal with that? Okay, so with the Seven of Cups here, my suggestion, what I'm feeling here is allow your dream to unfold. Allow the ideal situation to unfold in front of you in real time as you go, rather than trying to lock it all down right from the get-go, okay? In other words, you go through, let's say the Seven Pentacles, Seven of Cups here. You go through 7 steps of the journey here. And you're like, oh, I've always wanted this to be facing towards the sunset. Or I've always wanted a rock garden down here and a little patio that goes around here. Allow the dreams to come through. Allow the dreams to go into conversation. And allow them to be like, oh, should that be brown or white or gray? Or should we cancel that piece of the dream and create another piece of dream, like forget this thing, like what about full screen windows or something like that? Would that be cool? In other words, allow the dream to unfold in conversation. Sketches on a napkin, like oh, let's say you're having conversations with the contractor and you go, oh, listen, I just had an idea. You know that part of the plan where it looks like blah, 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 this and this and this, and there's that and that, blah, blah, blah. And I know you talked about it, that we were going to put this color thing over there and that thing over there. Well, what about the possibility of doing that instead? Huh? What do you think? Is that going to screw up the budget? What about a lighting thing that comes from here to here? Would that mess up the budget? I didn't think I would. I never thought about that before, but I would love to have something like that now. What do you think? So what I'm suggesting here is, in order to build harmony between yourself and the contractors, in order to get the optimal outcome, what I'm suggesting is like share the dream as you go. In other words, let the contractor be the contractor, do things absolutely to the highest standards, according to the book, all the permits, all in the right timing, all with the proper financing, and construction loans, however you want to do it. And then be the supervisor, for the cash flow, dispersals of cash. And as you go along, just openly confess and admit that this is my dream come true. And I want this to be my dream home for life. This is not just a project. I don't want to just build a place to sleep. I want something beautiful out of my imagination, turned into a plan, turned into something real, where I can feel that I did the right thing with that room and that room and that room and that room. And I love sitting over here. I love relaxing over there. I love cooking over here. I love sleeping over there. I love walking around out there. Let the dream unfold in real time as you go, and be prepared to adapt and moderate, and let this very rich, strong Neptunian type of energy have its chance to be expressed, so that you end up with a very kind of like a very beautiful sense of home that has, let's just say it, like a sort of almost like a dream home, like that Neptune thing. It's very hard to capture that, of course, but if you do it right and do things very, very gently, build a good relationship, perhaps in the back of their mind they're thinking like, God, this Tina lady, she's a complete crackpot. She thinks she can just like do that and do that and do that, but it's okay, I'll talk with her. Okay, well, I understand what you're saying, Tina. I'm sort of doing a bit of theater here, okay? I understand what you're saying, Tina, but you do realize that by changing the angle of this or that, it's going to change this or that. And you kind of go, Oh, well, I'm glad you told me. Maybe I'll change my dream scenario a little bit. How about if we do this or that or that? I know you've got the basic plan and everything, that's fine, but could we tweak it a little bit, so I can get my dream scenario, whatever. So, that's what contractors have to do. They have to work with the client. So all I'm suggesting is don't be shy. Let the dream flow. Let it come out. But don't be fooled, and don't let yourself be hijacked by like a contractor that is very, very rigid and thinks that they own and control everything. What you need is essentially, it's kind of scary, but you need to have almost like a marriage between you and the contractor and you, so that the energy of the contractor is deeply buried into the outcome of the project, so much to the point that you get this balance of harmony. And I'm going to go over here a second, Tina. What I'm suggesting, you have to create an energy field that is so powerful and strong between you and the contractor and the construction, so that by the end of the project, you and the contractor and everybody involved can look at it almost like as one of these showcase YouTube video situations. Like, because those things happen, and careers are built that way. And the contractor is so proud of how the project went that they can, like, it's almost like a movie. Like, hey everybody, I want you to meet the folks who did the plumbing. I want you to meet the team who did all the electrical. And look, there's the roofing team. Fantastic. And how you pulled it all together like a beautiful movie. And then you film it all. Like, look at the way the windows turned out. Look at the way the sunlight comes through here. Look at the landscaping. Look at all of that. That's what I'm thinking. Make it like one of those dream projects, so that you, Tina, are very, very proud, and all the contractors and subcontractors are proud to be involved, and it's like a beautiful showcase, okay? Okay, so I hope that makes sense, Tina. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, so that's your mini reading. I hope it makes sense. You can get something out of it. Tina, I'm only seeing glimpses, but it sounds like you've got a plan to a certain degree, and you've got some vision, and you've got the everything is there for you. I think with that Six of Pentacles, you're surrounded by all the resources that you need. It's just a question of keeping everything in harmony and balance. And ultimately, it's you, it's your dream, it's your project. So it has to work out literally almost like a dream come true, where it could be a showcase home, where when the project is over, all the contractor and the subcontractors are invited. Like, they're asking you, Tina, do you mind if we actually film this thing when it's all done? Because this is coming out so beautifully. We want to use this as a showcase for future projects. Would you mind, Tina? That's the feeling that I'm getting here. You want to create that kind of vibe where you create an environment where the contractors and subcontractors are so happy to work within, like, say, really, really strict professional confines, but the end result is just, it's almost like a little dream come true type of thing. And there's a lot of pride associated with it, okay? A lot of pride, a lot of integrity, so that you walk away as a happy client, and they walk away as proud contractors with another amazing review showcase on their company websites, okay? Doesn't have to be. I know it doesn't. Doesn't have to be a showcase. All I'm suggesting is that it's you're proud, they're proud of their work, to the point like it could be a showcase. Alrighty, here we go. All right, my throat here is very tender right now. It's not sick or bad or anything. So I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to linger on the big fat red T-square too much. We're going to be doing more videos down the road pretty soon, I think, with the 16th coming up, and then I think it's the 19th. So as we go through this stress point where we get the Mars-Pluto opposition in the big fat hard T-square with all that Taurus energy, okay? In other words, we're going to be dealing with this over the next week or two, okay? So don't be surprised if you see some very incendiary news headlines from across the world. Big explosive bomb things, financial explosions and bombs, more shifts in the tectonic plates, more scary bad stories about the global banking system and the United States Federal Reserve. We're gonna look at all of that, okay? Oh man, gosh, it was a pleasure to read for everybody tonight. Where are we? All right. So let's see. We did 3 readings. We had to look at the astrodoodles. I'm just checking if I've done my job. Done okay. Well, I think we're good. Everybody good? Okay. Okay, thanks, Tina. My pleasure. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just I'm watching one of the monitors and I'm looking at the notes in the chat there for a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Solar backup, all electric with solar backup. Yeah, sure. Yeah. You have a lot of sunshine over there. Tremendous amount of sunshine. There are certain situations where solar makes a lot of sense. Definitely. The use of New Mexico wood that is milled in New Mexico. Now that's cool. Yeah. Some of you know that I have these like daydreams of, you know, the TarotLumination retreat. We've talked about that many times, but that's going back to 2017 and 2018. We haven't really sort of dealt with that too much because it's kind of it's a very tender spot for me. It's a very sore spot. But I still have those kinds of hopeful visions, you know. I've lived in so many different places, traveled a lot, and have what I call lifestyle package deals. And for several of those lifestyle package deals, I've lived either very close or almost on water, you know, so I like that. Right now I'm living a life in the desert. It's very new for me. I'm not used to desert environments. There's some incredible beauty here. Staggering beauty if you know where to look. I haven't seen it out here, but I also know there's some amazing architecture here in Las Vegas. I was out at a place called the Wetlands Reserve the other day. I was exploring places where I could be close to nature. I've spent a long time in my life being very immersed in very deep, rich, green, wet nature. Lots of animals, rainbows, four-season climates, ice, snow, and then heat and all those kinds of things. And in the United States, we have so much variety. You can go live way up north, up into the Arctic, over in Alaska. You can live in the tropics, way down in Florida. It's all possible here. We have so much, okay? Come to the hot springs, TL. Funny that... Hot springs? Oh, Hemis! Hemis hot springs, right. I see what you're saying. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I was doing some notes to myself very, very early this morning. I check in with some of my friends and family pretty much every day, and I like to read I like to scan global headlines for things that are of interest to me personally. You know, I have this keen interest in the energy fields of Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, which are the transpersonal planets way out there. You can't see them, but the energy fields are very big and powerful nonetheless. And I have a special focus on Pluto because it represents, in terms of astrology, the way I interpret things, it represents the very, very deepest part of the soul. The parts of the soul that are almost intangible, parts that you're not really even aware of at a conscious level. And so, hello, Elizabeth Boucher! Oh my gosh, we're just ending the show. My throat is very... I need to stop right now. Otherwise, I would say, hey, come on, let's hang out, let's do more readings. Just please tell me, Elizabeth, that you're okay. Okay? Yeah, over here at the Wetlands Park, there's bicycle trails and things like that. There's walking trails, and it's a very fragile environment because it's a desert. And a lot of the Las Vegas basin free water travels and ends up down into the Las Vegas wash and eventually through a load of filters and into Lake Mead. So there's a lot of water recycling here because otherwise there would be no water at all. Okay, good, Elizabeth, you're okay. Good. And in this wetland park, there's a big, like a showcase, like a, what do they call it? It's not a museum. It's like a visitor center. They have these beautiful displays of all the wildlife and the animals and the plants and everything. It's just fantastic. Just beautiful. So I hope to go there again and hopefully share some time with you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty. So we'll see you soon. I'm going to log out right now really quickly and say goodbye. We got places to go, people to see, things to do. Get well. Love thyself. Be happy. These are choices. These are decisions. Be loving. Be loved. Love thyself. Deliberately ask for the healing power of love to fill your body, mind, heart, and soul from above so that you can own it. And once you're an owner, then you have the gift and the responsibility to transmit and share that. You know, in other words, be loving, be loved. It works that way round. You don't go around waiting like, hey, nobody loves me. How can I be loving if I'm not loved? It doesn't work that way. You have to flip it around. You have to be loving, wait for the laws of attraction, and then be loved. It still doesn't make sense a lot of the time because people have certain expectations. A lot of people have been broken and damaged beyond repair. There's a lot of human tragedy out there, especially considering there's 8 billion people. And a lot of them are damaged beyond repair. It's very sad, it's very tragic, but it's also true. You're not allowed to talk about it. And there's reasons why that happens. Again, these are things that a lot of it, I could talk about it, but I'm not going to do it tonight now. I'm just going to wrap it up and say goodnight to everybody. It's been a pleasure to read for you. Thank you for your time, kindness, and generosity. Take care. I'm going to stop the stream now and then let it fizzle while YouTube does its own ending of the show, okay?